Hey friends, welcome to Morning Pause. I'm Doug Meyer, and we bring this to you every week in an effort to just make us think about stuff, whether it's God stuff or life stuff, heart stuff, whatever. So today is part 2 of our conversation about anger, and it sparked a lot of comments on your part as well as a lot of internal conversations here at church and also online amongst friends and strangers. If you didn't get to see last week, basically what we talked about is most of us are a mess when it comes to anger. Many folks, especially my age, grew up with parents who had rules about anger, about who could express anger, and if you did, how you could express it. Most of the time, it was reserved for parents. Many times that was the male figure in the house, the dad, sometimes moms, but many times it was dads. And so most of us had no template for anger other than to think in our minds it was wrong, bad, should be avoided, should never be used, and it just kind of messed us up. And when it did come out, it came out sideways in all sorts of unhealthy ways. And basically what I labeled that was destructive anger. Today, we're going to turn the page and begin imagining a new reality, a reality in which we make choices in which we attend to our anger in constructive ways. Perhaps even creating our own template for how we can use it as a catalyst for change in our lives and in the lives of other folks with whom we do life. You know, if you think about it, anger expressed through protest has been a part of our universal history, our cultural history, for sure. If you think about, for instance, there have been historically large marches all the way back, women protesting for the right to vote. Doesn't that seem crazy now that women at one point in our history did not have those kind of rights? Protest about the environment, no matter where you are on the spectrum about any of that. What we know is that protests have gotten attention and have made those who are in decision-making power make more bold decisions. There have been countless protests about human rights. And again, you know, how can a human life not matter? We could go on and on and on and talk about how your and my right to protest, to assemble, to express a strong emotion has been a game changer. This morning I want to read to you 3 quotes, and they express what I think is a belief about how anger can be used in constructive ways. And then we're going to spend some time talking about a quote from a wise person hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, Aristotle. But first I want to read to you this quote from Gandhi. He says, "Anger is an energy that compels us to define what is right and wrong." Right? Think about that. Within you or I, our anger is sparked by that very word compelled. I love the action in that word, that we will not sit idly by when something that we perceive as wrong is happening. Martin Luther King said, "The supreme task of a leader is to organize and unite people so that their anger becomes a transforming force." Again, what a great image, right? A transforming force. I hope that you have, like me, have seen that happening in our world of late. Now, lastly, I want to read to you, and we're going to put it up on the screen, a quote from Aristotle. And I want us to spend some time kind of really encountering that text up close. Anybody can become angry. That's easy. But to be angry with the right person and the right degree, and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that's not within everybody's power. That is not easy. Wow. So much of that, I think, pushes all the buttons with the word right, and this whole notion that there are rules about anger and how to use it and how to express it. He says again, the right persons to the right degree, at the right time for the right purpose and in the right way. One of the thoughts that comes to my mind immediately is, well, who gets to define right? And in part, that is one of the challenges of constructive anger, because you and I have conflicting ideas at times about the rightness of anger and how it is expressed. We see that all over the place with groups who decide the right way and another group who decides their right way. And when they intersect, anger comes out in all sorts of destructive ways. And it doesn't need to be that way. My challenge for us this morning is to begin creating our own template of how to use anger in a constructive way. And I want to propose these three little ideas. What if we listen versus react? And these are three choices, a choice you and I have to make with that lobe area of our brain, to listen versus react. I don't know about you, but I am guilty frequently of listening to react versus listening to respond. So what's that mean I have to do? I have to suspend my judgment. I have to decide that there could be more than one way to look at a situation. What if we decide to learn versus label? Learn versus label. A whole lot of anger for a whole lot of people comes out of predisposed notions and ideas about the other, the they-ness of the anger that's going on. And we use our filter and our lens to decide the appropriateness of their anger. So what if we chose to learn versus label? And then lastly, what if we chose to collaborate versus confront? So much of the intersection of anger today is about confronting and my deciding that you need to come to my side, or I need to convince you of the wrongness of how you are angry. I don't know about you, but you telling me I'm wrong when I'm angry has never solved anything. It has never squelched me from being angry in that moment just because somebody in authority or power shook their finger at me and said, you shouldn't be angry. So what if instead we put on an attitude of collaboration and we chose to examine a situation together? And maybe at times we, looked through each other's lens, walked in each other's shoes, made a commitment to each other's humanity, and decided that we are better than just the destructive anger, that we could construct a new template that will harness anger as a catalyst and a fuel for change. I invite you to think about that both in your own life, in your own relationships, with what you're teaching your kids, with what you're modeling in your home and in your neighborhood, even here in our churches. How can you and I join hands and create a template for change, a template that uses anger for good? If you have some great insights from that, man, I really appreciate it if you'd share them. Drop them in the comment box. Together we can make a big difference in this world, don't you think? I do. Let's have a moment of centering and a prayer, and we'll leave it at that. God, thank you that you are part of creation that helps fill my lungs even today with energy about the very thought that anger, my anger, our anger, can be used to construct a new reality, a reality where we listen, we learn, we collaborate, versus attacking and combating one another. Help that, oh God, to be a reality now in this your kingdom. Amen. Have a great day. And as always, if you got something out of Morning Pause, I invite you to let us know and to share it with a friend. In the meantime, take care.